Let's go to other values in the United States. This is a story that really upset me. There's a gal there that was promoted to the Virginia Board of Education for the state of Virginia, and her nomination was up for confirmation by the state legislature. And normally these things all go through at one vote. You know, there's 29 people being confirmed, and they all just get accepted because the governor did it. This specific lady is named Suparna Duda. Let me show you a picture of her. This is her. She's an immigrant from India, highly educated. She's a mom, and she was promoted because, get this, she's in favor of American values like capitalism, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and so on. You're hearing me and you go, yeah, she probably belongs on the Board of Education.
Right.
It's a story of an immigrant woman of color who comes to the United States,
right,
works herself up, has kids, comes to the attention of the governor, who says, absolutely, she represents diversity and American values. What happened? She had the audacity to say that socialism is not an American value because it's the truth. We're not a socialist country. We're a capitalist country. Well, that created a firestorm, and the nutballs came out against her. She's an engineer. She's the most highly educated person that was on the board. And now her confirmation was defeated. But here's an interesting part about it. Do you know who led the fight against her? A lady named Ann Holton. She's married to this guy. That's Senator Tim Kaine. He was almost the vice president of the United States on Hillary's ticket a few years ago. And Ann Holton said, I'm uncomfortable with language that says socialism and communism are not American values.
When they're not.
Think about that. What say you, Will Johnson, that this guy and his wife came out against this lady who had the audacity to say the American Constitution ought to be taught in schools and capitalism ought to be taught in schools, and they ought to be taught that communism and socialism is bad. And she was kicked off the board for that.
That's ridiculous. You know, as much as I have learned about socialism and communism, I have come to find out that every nation in history that has adopted socialism that led to communism has failed. Every single one. And you know what? You know why a lot of people here, Barry, in the United States of America want to adopt socialism / communism? And when you bring up the fact that all these other nations have failed, like look at Venezuela, for example, right, in the most recent history. They say we can do socialism better. I hear that all the time. I'm like, wait, what? No, we can do it better. So you can imagine, see, every other nation in the past, they said, well, we can do it better. We can do it better. We can do it better.
Oh, in other words, they all failed. They screwed it up. But
yeah, they failed. But
plan.
Exactly. But we can do it better. We can make it be successful. But that's the whole point. Communism is not about success. Communism is about destruction of a country, a nation that has been doing very well, that has been successful. And I've even talked to some of these people that believe in communism, and they've gone on to say that they know that capitalism has its place. They believe that every nation that becomes a capitalist nation and thrives and become very successful, they said that once capitalism get to a certain point, we need to stop it and cut it off and then bring in communism. And I'm like, do you hear what you're saying?
So that's insane. That's insane.
It is. It's 100%. This is what they think, though, Barry. And this is the reason why this whole socialism, communism is growing, because they want to do away with capitalism. Capitalism is the very reason why these people sit in the positions that they're sitting in today, and they unable, not capable of putting two and two together. Their brain capacity stops because their brain cells are social distancing from one another.
You know, a little bit of history lesson for all those morons out there. Communism and socialism have killed more people in world history
Yes.
than all the other wars combined.
Yes.
And then people say, well, what about World War II? The Nazis against the communists in Soviet Union. Nazis stands for National Socialism.
Yes.
Hitler was a socialist.
Yes.
And on the other side, right, Stalin was a socialist.
Mao
and on the
Zedong.
other side of the world, Mao was a socialist.
Yes.
They're all socialist communists. They
Yes.
slaughtered hundreds of millions of people in the name of socialism.
Yeah.
And these idiots that say, well, yeah, that was not real socialism. We're going to do it the right way. There's never been a successful socialist country that did not have capitalism as part of it. So
right.
When a lady like this immigrates to the United States, becomes an engineer, has kids, runs for the school board, gets nominated by the governor, and has the audacity to say, America is the greatest country on earth, and I think American values ought to be taught in school. And this clown, who could have been your vice president, with his wife, comes out and says, no, socialism should not be condemned. He's an idiot, and shame on Virginia for electing him again.